the unshakable truth of Harry and Meghan Sussex. My dear viewers, let's dive into a story that's as captivating as it is revealing, a tale of courage, betrayal, and a truth so powerful it keeps an entire institution awake at night. Picture this, a family steeped in centuries of tradition, their every move choreographed, their image polished to perfection. Now imagine two people, Prince Harry and Meghan Sussex, daring to step out of that gilded cage, not just to survive, but to thrive. This isn't just a story about a prince and his wife. This is a story about a monarchy trembling in the shadow of secrets, terrified of what might come next. Because let's not pretend anymore. The Windsors are shaken, absolutely shaken. And it's not because Harry and Meghan Sussex walked away from royal life. It's because they survived it and had the audacity to tell their story. Buckle up, because this is a saga of resilience, rebellion, and a truth that refuses to be silenced. The half-told tale. Let's start with a truth bomb. We haven't even heard the full story. Prince Harry's memoir, Spare, sent shockwaves around the world, peeling back the curtain on royal life with a raw honesty that left jaws on the floor. But here's the kicker. Harry himself admitted it was only half the story. 400 pages. Let that sink in. 400 pages of lived experience, of heartbreak, of betrayal were left on the cutting room floor. Why? Not out of fear, but out of restraint, out of protection. Harry and Meghan Sussex could have spilled every secret, exposed every wound, but they chose to hold back. That wasn't weakness. It was power. The kind of power that comes from knowing the truth and choosing when to wield it. And yet, even with that restraint, the royal institution has been quaking ever since. Why? Because those who build their empires on silence and cover-ups live in constant fear of the truth. If Harry and Meghan Sussex ever decide to go further, to really speak, the dam breaks, the mask slips, and the monarchy, as we know it, might not survive the fallout. The signs of fear. The fear is palpable, my friends, and the signs are everywhere. The moment news broke that Harry and Meghan Sussex's 5-year Netflix deal had wrapped, the leaks started pouring in. Suddenly, unnamed royal sources were concerned, on edge, whispering about a new memoir or a tell-all from Meghan Sussex herself. It's the same tired playbook smear, spin, speculate. But let's cut through the noise. This cycle of panic isn't random. It's rooted in guilt. If you're truly innocent, you don't flinch every time someone hints they might tell more of their story. You don't lose sleep over a book unless you know exactly what that book might reveal. The Windsors aren't afraid of fiction. They're terrified of facts, of receipts, of accountability. That's why they're still reeling from Spare. That's why they lean on their media mouthpieces to churn out endless headlines, because silence from Harry and Meghan Sussex is unnerving, but the truth from them, it's nuclear. Now, let's talk about that Netflix deal, because honestly, the narrative around it is a masterclass in distortion. The British press tried to paint it as a failure, a flop, a misstep. But let's look at the facts. The Sussexes' docuseries shattered streaming records, pulling in millions of viewers who were hungry for their story. Live to Lead inspired audiences across the globe, shining a light on leaders who embody courage and purpose. Heart of Invictus gave wounded veterans a platform, amplifying voices that are too often ignored. And here's the cherry on top. Netflix themselves said they loved working with Harry and Meghan Sussex. That's not failure, that's a legacy. A contract fulfilled, a mark made, and new chapters already in the works. But what do we see in response? Panic. Desperate quotes from so-called royal experts speculating about what the Sussexes might do next. They're clutching their pearls over the possibility of Meghan Sussex writing her own memoir. And honestly, I hope she does. Because for all the venom thrown her way, Meghan Sussex has held her head high. If she ever chose to share her full truth, not the tabloid caricature but her real story, it would shift the entire conversation. Let's call out the hypocrisy while we're at it. 1 minute, the critics are slamming Meghan Sussex's success, mocking her lifestyle brand, American Riviera Orchard, and demanding she stay quiet. The next, they're wringing their hands, saying, "Oh, we hope she finds another revenue source soon." Really? After tearing apart their Spotify deal, smearing the Netflix projects, and ridiculing every business move they make, spare me. The truth is, they don't want Harry and Meghan Sussex to be self-sufficient. They want them silenced and broke. But here's the twist, they've failed spectacularly. Meghan Sussex is thriving, building a brand rooted in elegance, hospitality, and joy. She's producing content, mentoring young girls, launching ventures that resonate with authenticity. Harry is championing causes like the Invictus Games, pouring his heart into work that matters. They're not trapped by outdated titles or palace control. They're tethered to purpose. And that purpose includes telling their story on their terms, no matter how much it terrifies the institution. Let's be clear. Harry and Meghan Sussex aren't struggling. To anyone clinging to that false hope, I say, you wish. They've faced relentless attacks, from tabloid lies to coordinated smear campaigns, and yet they stand taller than ever. Meghan Sussex in particular is a force, unapologetic, unbroken, and undeniably powerful. Her brand isn't just about products, it's about creating a space for joy, for connection, for authenticity in a world that often feels devoid of it. She's mentoring young women, showing them what it means to rise above hate and carve your own path. Harry, meanwhile, continues to honor his mother's legacy while forging his own, with a heart that beats for service and justice. Together, they've turned their pain into purpose, their exile into empowerment, and that, my dear viewers, is what scares the establishment most of all. They tried to erase Harry and Meghan Sussex, to strip them of their titles, their security, their place. But you can't erase a voice. You can't silence a truth that burns too brightly. As we close this chapter, let's reflect on what this story really means. Harry and Meghan Sussex aren't just a couple who left a palace. They're a movement. A testament to what happens when you choose authenticity over control, courage over conformity. The Windsors may tremble at the thought of what's still unsaid, but Harry and Meghan Sussex aren't here to destroy. They're here to rebuild, to redefine what power looks like, what legacy means. Every step they take, every project they launch, every truth they share chips away at the myth of an untouchable institution. And to those who fear their next move, I say this: the truth doesn't need your permission to be told. It doesn't bow to crowns or crumble under pressure. Harry and Meghan Sussex have shown us that freedom is the ultimate rebellion, and their story, half told or fully revealed, will echo for generations. So, my dear viewers, let's not just watch their journey, let's learn from it. Let's celebrate the unshakable spirit of two people who dared to walk away, to speak up, and to live free. Because in the end, the truth doesn't just set you free, it changes the world.